Hey YouTube, hope everybody's doing well today. In my last video I said I would do a update on my 1903 A4. I know I've done 2 videos on it, and this is probably going to be the third and final video, just to talk about a couple of things that I've done since the last video. And I'm pretty much done with it. There's only really 1 or maybe 2 more things I'm going to need to do to make it look more correct. But however, if you haven't seen my first 2 videos, this is my 1903 A4 build. It is not a real World War II 1903 A4. However, it is built off of USGI 1903 parts. And the stock is a new reproduction stock from Newbridge, which when I got it didn't look all that great. And I've gone through and put some tung oil on it and some kind of a red mahogany stain before that, and it turned out pretty good. In my opinion, I hit it with some sand or some steel wool to get rid of the sheen. But back to the rifle, a little bit more about the updates or upgrades I've done to it since the last video. The last video, I had a few different things on this gun. One thing you might notice is the rings are a little bit different. These are new rings. I had vintage Redfield rings on there, but unfortunately they were really worn out and the scope was actually sliding. And this front ring right here was actually loose inside the Redfield mount, so it was pretty worn out. And I wasn't getting all that great groups because of that. So changed that out. Another thing I did change was the bolt sleeve and safety. On the first video I had a Bueller safety on there, and wasn't a big fan. I've heard things from credible people that it is not a very safe safety, but I don't know, that's just from what I've heard. But I ended up switching that out to a regular 1903 A3 safety, and it just barely clears the scope. I mean, there's just a hair in between there, but it doesn't touch the scope, so that's good. And the biggest thing I did to this rifle since the last video was I changed the barrel out. If you saw my last video, you'd probably remember that the barrel was blued, and it ended right about here. It was cut and crowned right about where my finger is. Ended up replacing the barrel with a Criterion barrel from the CMP, and it's a really nice barrel. Shoots very, very good, and it's parkerized and has the key cut in it. I'll show that to you. So that's more correct. Actually, it is correct. It's just not a USGI barrel. It's a Criterion match grade barrel that has GI contours with the same rifling and same twist. 4-groove barrel. So that's that. I replaced the front bayonet lug with a USGI barrel, USGI part, and then all the other metal on this gun is all USGI parts, except for, I would say, the mount, which is a vintage Redfield mount, but it's not USGI. The rings and the scope that's on here is a Weaver K 2.5 with the post reticle. I thought I would like the post reticle after shooting it a few times now. That post actually covers probably about 3 to 4 inches of the target at 100 yards, which I'm not a big fan of. So I'm looking for a Weaver K 2.5 with the fine crosshairs to put on this gun, and that's going to be one of the things I still need to do to this. And the last thing really I need to do is get a A4 bolt. The bolt that's on this gun is a sporterized bolt. It works well, clears the scope just fine. As you can see, it got plenty of room in there to clear the scope, and that's a 60B, Weaver K 2.5 60B, and it clears it just fine. But to make it look more, I mean, it's almost there, but to make it look more correct, I need to get an A4 bolt. And there is a guy that lives in my area that makes them. It's Warpath Vintage. I don't know if you've heard of those guys, but or that guy. He's a excellent gunsmith, and all he does is really work on vintage World War II firearms, specifically the 1903s. And he builds 1903 A4 replicas and 1903 A1s, and that's really all he does, and he's phenomenal at it. Highly suggest looking him up if you want to get one of these built. You don't want to build yourself one, or you need work done to any 1903. Look him up online, give him a call, and he could probably help you out. He has great prices. Like I said, the barrel was installed by him. I took this gun up to him to have the barrel installed. He was actually the one that noticed the rings were worn out. So he put new rings on the gun, and then he was the one who told me about the Bueller safety and kind of the issues I was having with it. So he put this bolt sleeve and safety on there, and it actually looks good. It's more correct. Happy with that. And then he went through the whole gun and kind of gave me some tips on a few things. Great guy. Like I said, highly suggest going to him if you're gonna build one of these or you're interested in them. But yeah, guys, this is kind of probably gonna be my last video. I might update one more video with me shooting it and put some targets in there and whatnot. But this is it. This is pretty much the final product, except, like I said, except for the scope, which will look identical. It's just going to have a different reticle, and the bolt to get that A4 bolt on there. That's pretty much it. Like I said, those are the last few things I'm going to do to this gun, and I'm hopefully going to be able to shoot it in some CMP competitions this summer. Hopefully, we'll see if life allows me to. As you guys know, that's not. Life changes. So but there it is. Hope you guys like it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you're trying to build one, you have any questions. I'm no expert by any means, but hopefully I can give you a few pointers since I have built one of these. This is my first one. This is my first 1903 A4 build. So yeah, feel free to leave any comments. Don't leave any rude ones. I'm not going to reply to them anyway, so you're just going to be talking to the air. But yeah, hope you guys liked the video. I'm pretty proud of this rifle and the way it turned out. But yeah, that's it. And really the last thing I need to talk about is the sling. I don't think I've talked about the sling. This is not a Turner sling, but I did get this from Amazon. And it was like 25 bucks. It's got some pretty thick leather on there. It works real well. It's got the brass hooks, which I'm not sure if I like. I might paint them black, who knows. But yeah, it's a good sling, 1907 sling. If you haven't used a 1907 sling, I suggest looking up how to use one, because they're rock solid. They give you a really, really good platform to shoot off of. With this loop in there, you turn it, put it through your arm, cinch it tight. But yeah, that's a different video you guys can look up and figure out. But anyways, hope you liked the video. And there's pretty much the finished product, guys. All right. Have a good day.